Hey, everybody. Welcome back in to the Molasses Report. Pull up a chair and let's sit with this one for a minute. So, I actually went to church this week for the first time in years, completely on my own choice. No holiday obligation, no guilt text, no we saved you a seat pressure. I walked in on purpose. And somewhere between the second hymn and the moment my legs realized pews were designed in the medieval era, a line landed that hasn't left me. Friday's disappointment is Sunday's empty tomb. I've been carrying that line around like a smooth stone in my pocket ever since. On the surface, yeah, it's obviously religious. It's Good Friday, the crucifixion, Easter Sunday, the resurrection. It's the worst day and the impossible turnaround wrapped into one sentence. It's heavy, it's sacred, it's hopeful, the kind of line that carries centuries on its back. But if you've listened to this show for more than a few episodes, you already know. I don't leave things at the surface. I turn them over. I hold them up to the light. I ask, okay, but what actually does this mean for the rest of us? The non miracle workers, the non water walkers, the people who still hit snooze 3 times and call that a personality trait. Because when I hear that line, I don't just see theology, I see Tuesday afternoons. I see rejection emails that start with after careful consideration. I see hard conversations in parked cars where nobody wants to open their car door first. I see medical waiting rooms with outdated magazines and life altering news. See the moment the plan drastically falls apart and nobody hands you a map. We all have our Fridays. And let's not sanitize Friday here. Friday wasn't a hard day. It wasn't character building. It wasn't a growth opportunity. Nobody on Friday said, "This will look great on my spiritual resume." It was loss, confusion, grief, public failure, the collapse of expectations. And the part that often isn't said out loud enough is even the Almighty Jesus questioned the plan. In the garden, before everything went down, he prayed, essentially saying, "Are you absolutely sure about this? Isn't there another way? Because I'm not loving this plan." That matters to me more than the miracle, honestly, because sometimes faith gets packaged like certainty, like calm, glowing, unbothered acceptance. Like, if you're anxious, you must be wrong. But the story itself shows hesitation, distress, sweat, fear, a very human moment of, I know what's coming and I don't want it. Translating this into modern language, I know this conversation is necessary, but I still don't want to have it. I know leaving is right, but I still want to stay. I know this boundary is healthy, but I feel guilty about drawing it. I know this is growth, but I still hate it. You can believe in purpose and still dread the process. You can trust the plan and still not like the path. You can be committed and still say, "I wish this wasn't required." That's not weakness, that's honesty. And honesty, historically speaking, has a better success rate than pretending everything is fine while your internal operating system is on fire. Now, let's talk about how Fridays actually show up for us. Because most of ours don't come around with thunder and darkness and Roman guards. They come as the job you almost got, the relationship that slowly stopped choosing you, the friend who drifted without a fight, the apology you never received, the effort that went unnoticed, the version of your life you thought you'd have by now. Modern disappointment rarely announces itself. It leaks through the ceiling one drop at a time until one day you realize the drywall is soft. And what makes Friday so brutal? On Friday, it looks final. Disappointment is very convincing. It's a skilled attorney. It presents arguments, charts, a slideshow titled "Why This Is Permanent and Why We Should All Panic." Friday never says, this is a chapter. Friday says, this is the end. But it isn't, because Sunday exists, even when you can't see it yet. And we rush that part too. We speed from pain to platitude like we're late for emotional regulation. But the middle matters. There's a Saturday in this story, and nobody makes the greeting cards for Saturday. It's the waiting day. The nothing is happening, and I hate it here. It's the unanswered text of history. It's when you check your email again, even though you know nothing new is there. It's when progress is invisible and effort feels stupid. We glamorize breakthrough and we dramatize collapse, but we almost never talk about endurance, the long stretch where nothing changes, but you keep showing up anyway. If you're in a Saturday season right now, where the disappointment already happened and the redemption hasn't shown, you're not behind schedule. You're just in the middle. And middle chapters read terrible when you mistake them for endings. Let me add something important before everyone throws their headphones across the room. This is not toxic positivity. This is not everything happens for a reason, wallpaper theology. Some things hurt. Some losses stay losses. Some doors stay closed. Some prayers get a different answer than what you wanted. Resurrection doesn't mean reversal. Sometimes it means transformation. The empty tomb wasn't a rewind button. It wasn't pretend Friday never happened. The scars were still there. The story still counted. The pain wasn't erased. That's a more honest hope, because your comeback might not look like the original blueprint, but you can still be real, still make you feel alive, still meaningful. The resurrection is not getting the old life back, it's becoming someone who no longer needs it. Small resurrections count. Getting out of bed when your brain says no. Drinking water like it's a personality trait. Sending the application anyway when you're not qualified. Booking the therapy session. Apologizing without a defense speech. Choosing healing over distraction. Choosing truth over image. No headlines, no choir, no cinematic lighting, just quiet defiance against despair. Quiet resurrections rarely trend, but they change lives. And another angle here is sometimes you are not the one being resurrected. Sometimes you're the one standing outside the tomb, waiting with someone else. Sometimes your role is not the miracle, it's just being there. You sit, you listen, you bring food, you send the check in text. You say, I'm not going anywhere. History remembers the empty tomb. Heaven remembers those who stayed through Saturday. Let's circle back to the opening line here. Friday's disappointment is Sunday's empty tomb. Notice what it doesn't say. It doesn't say Friday's disappointment is Sunday's explanation. It doesn't say Sunday's full clarity. It doesn't say Sunday's 5-step strategy and emotional closure. You don't get the explanation. You get the opening, the space, the next step, the possibility. The empty tomb is not a diagram, it's the invitation. An invitation to move when certainty is gone. An invitation to act when proof is incomplete. An invitation to hope without guarantees. So, here's the slow, sticky takeaway from today, molasses report style. If you're questioning the plan, you're in good company. If you're tired, you're not disqualified. If you're hesitant, you're not falling behind. If disappointment feels loud, let it speak. Just don't let it narrate the ending. Your job is not to understand the whole map. Your job is to take the next step. Sometimes resurrection will look like trumpets. Sometimes it looks like coffee, a shower, and one honest email. All of it counts. And if this episode finds you in a Friday, I'm sitting with you. If you're in a Saturday, keep breathing. If you're in Sunday, turn around and wave someone forward. Proof matters. Share this with someone at the start or the middle of their story. The plan isn't always clear. doubt is not disqualifying. Showing up still matters. Because again, Friday's disappointment is Sunday's empty tomb. Happy Easter, everybody. I'll see you next week.